Update. Am I the a-hole for not helping a woman who had a baby with my ex-husband get benefits? Original post. I wrote this over a year ago when I first found out about the situation. Tried to post it in another group, but it wouldn't let me. I'm posting here now because I came across it in my posting history and really wanted to know what others think. Thanks in advance for any help you can suggest. So my 43 ex-husband Duke 54 and I divorced because he habitually cheated on me. We were divorced a little over 2 years when he died in a motorcycle accident. I paid for his funeral because of my daughter 15, and despite everything, he was her father and I didn't want the state to bury him. That was 4 months ago and my daughter's doing well. I applied for survivor's benefits for her shortly after his funeral and have been receiving monthly payments. Yesterday, I received a phone call from my caseworker at a social security office, informing me that a woman called claiming that she had a 3-year-old son by my ex-husband. However, the woman had no proof the boy is actually my ex-husband, not signed birth certificates or a DNA test. The caseworker asked me if I would be willing to allow my daughter to do a DNA test to prove the child's paternity. I refused. I did the math, and this child was definitely conceived while I was still married to my ex. Furthermore, at the time of conception, I had gone through a very traumatic hysterectomy with major setbacks that nearly killed me. I suspect I know who this woman is, and she definitely knew my ex-husband and I were still married. I'm mad as heck, and I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing by refusing. But I was humiliated enough by my ex when he was alive, and I feel even more embarrassed now. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Might have already been said, but if the mother knew the kid was his, why did she wait 3 years to claim support from the father? Yes, any mother who has child support entitled to them deserves every penny. But it's a huge red flag when she waits till she knows their survivor's benefits going to his other child. I'm guessing someone told her she's missing out on a nice paycheck, and now she's wanting a piece of it. Could be that she was receiving money off the books from the ex. I doubt he would have agreed to a DNA test or formal child support while sharing a bank account with OP. It wouldn't matter what he agreed or disagreed to do. If she took him to court to establish paternity and child support, he would have to provide DNA sample. And if he refused, he would be automatically considered a father. Formal child support would be obligatory. He would be forced to pay one way or another. A fair partner was stupid for not taking the legal route. Not the a-hole. We don't owe this woman anything. Let her figure things out the way she would have if your daughter was not available. She could, for example, ask his parents or siblings to do the DNA test. She doesn't owe the woman anything, but she also has no reason to deny a child benefits. As far as I'm concerned, everyone in these comments focusing on the adults cheating and ignoring the welfare of a child are the a-holes. Now for the first update. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their comments and advice. As I stated in my edit on the original post, this happened over a year ago and for whatever reason, I wasn't allowed to post it on the thread I originally tried to. Now to the update. About a month after I found out about this little boy, I did indeed tell my daughter, who is now 17 by the way. She was shocked, as you can imagine, and very hurt by her dad's actions. I explained to her the full situation and she didn't want to do it then. She said she needed time, so that's what I gave her. Incidentally, she has been in therapy since before, during, and after the divorce. Her father and her were never close because he had a kids are to be seen and not heard mentality, which caused a lot of problems even when we were still together. The woman who had an affair with my husband was a work colleague/friend. We all worked together at the same place. We both still work there, just in different areas. After I got a call from my caseworker, several mutual acquaintances approached me and told me that she wanted to sit down and talk with me about her problem. I thought about that for a few days and ultimately decided to meet up with her. We met at a coffee shop by our job on Saturday. She told me that she and my ex started out as friends at first. He would give her advice on how to deal with her other 2 kids' dad. She said very quickly it turned into flirting and hanging out, and eventually a full-on affair. By this time, he's telling her I was getting suspicious that something was going on, and she was already pregnant. She told him about the pregnancy and he told her he wouldn't believing me, but he would assist her with whatever the child needed. She was hurt and angry, but stuck with the situation as she was already struggling with the 2 kids she had and needed help. She went on to say that he was very much in love with me and that she was jealous of me for having him. Not one time was this woman remorseful. No apologies, nothing. I asked her did she even care what their affair did to my daughter, and she replied no, because she had enough on her plate dealing with her own children and quite frankly didn't care about mine. That's word for word, by the way. At this point, I told her that I have informed my daughter about her son, and she is currently not interested in participating in this scenario. She got outraged by that, telling me I have to make my daughter do this. that she is only part-time at our job, and her kids cannot survive on her income alone. I told her she's a witch, that if she even felt a little bit of guilt, I might have been able to talk my daughter around, but her lack of respect for my daughter's feelings is why I won't. I left her there yelling at me as I walked away to my car. She has since quit working at our job. Over the past year, I have addressed the situation with my daughter and she still doesn't want to do it. I've told her it's her decision either way and I support what she wants. My ex's parents are both deceased and his one sister is dead. He has an older brother, but they hadn't communicated in decades because of the brother's drug issues. I tried to find out about him when my ex died, but I couldn't find anything. My ex was dead 2 full days before the police finally got in contact with me. It was a shock. I never hated him. I hated what he did. There is a difference. I guess that's the update. If there are any questions you guys would like me to answer, I'll be around. Feel free to ask. Thank you for your time. Stay blessed. Again, it was foolish of her to not get an official child support agreement when the child was born. Or a signature on the birth certificate. Probably because he is not the father. Oh, I think he is. She wants the money, and her greed or desperation for money, it is tough times, is showing. However, the woman had no proof the boy is actually my ex-husband's, not signed birth certificate or DNA test. The caseworker asked if I would be willing to allow my daughter to do a DNA test to prove this child's paternity. I refused. From OP's first post, her caseworker called her, telling her another woman filed for survivor's benefits. She initially was trying to be discreet with it too. Not the a-hole. Why would she quit her job if she is in dire need of income? Because she's expecting OP to hand over the money. Nope. She slept with a married man whose wife was her co-worker, if I read that correctly. She has no freaking excuse for her behavior. She made her bed for herself and her children. She can just lie in it until she finds another marriage to ruin. What I find interesting is that when a fair partner is asked whether she feels sorry for what she put the wife and daughter through, and she says no and quite frankly didn't care because she was worried about her kids. And now she wants that same daughter to care about her? Where do people get their entitlement from? Day after day I read such stories and I'm in awe. The husband and the affair partner are both terrible people. OP, I'm sorry for your and your daughter's loss. You are only obligated to care for your daughter and yourself. Last update. Once again, I thank everyone who took the time to leave a comment. There are a lot of questions and assumptions. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. First of all, let me say I did not hate my husband. Heck, I don't even hate his affair partner. For those who think I'm trying to get half-baked revenge on a toddler, just let me say you're insane to feel that way. In the moment when this all happened, I was in shock and total disbelief. I reacted without any real thought. I challenge anyone on here to say they haven't responded angrily with unwanted and unexpected news. However, I am not a person who does not think of consequences to my actions, and that is why I sat down, calmed down, and figured out how to proceed. I talked to both my mom and my brothers before I talked to my daughter. They were also in shock, but urged me to talk to my daughter and get her input on this situation. As I said in my first update, my daughter has been in therapy before, during, and still after the divorce. I suggested to her to talk to her therapist about this. She did. Based on my daughter's feelings of being adamantly opposed to being involved, her therapist suggested I give her time and I have. My daughter is a sweetheart, and I'm not saying this about her because she's mine. But it has been a lot for her to deal with at one time. I'm sure in the end she will change her mind, but I refuse to bully her into it. It has to be 100% her decision. Some of you think I hate my ex-husband, and I'm using this situation to get back at him. I do not. I hated what he did. That is all. My ex and I talked at least twice a week. We had disagreements, sure, like other people. I wish he would have told me honestly. The affair had long been out the bag. I'm not going to say I would have enjoyed hearing it, but at least we would have known. See, we're too busy living and oftentimes we subconsciously think everything will work out for the best. It never goes that way though, does it? If he would have told us, we could have long got over any shock, hurt, or resentment, and possibly the kids could have long ago met each other. I would have known about the boy, and we all would have been better prepared when he died. Who knows? But I'm no longer angry or hurt. Please believe me when I tell you that I want an amicable solution to this as much as you do. That day in the coffee shop with her, I once again reacted, but I'm human with feelings and emotions just like all of you. My ex-husband had no one else but us. As I said, he has a brother who's on drugs who I spent weeks trying to locate and couldn't. I would never have let him be buried by the state, because at the end of the day, we still loved him. I was married to him for 17 years for Pete's sake. I don't understand what some of these people want her to do. Is she supposed to pin her 17-year-old daughter down and forcibly take a cheek swab or something? The daughter has been told, and the daughter has made her decision. They both have every right to be angry. Like, I feel sorry for the toddler of the affair partner. That child had absolutely no say in how it was brought into the world. However, I agree with Opie. It's really not her place to be worrying about somebody else's child at the detriment of her own. Maybe when the daughter gets a little bit of age under her belt, she'll be interested in taking the DNA test. Maybe not. But it certainly isn't a black and white situation. People who are pretending like it is come across like they're probably children to me. There were so many people arguing in comments that she should have covertly done the test on her teenage daughter. It's fine, no need to even tell her. Like, dude, arguing that a woman lies to her teenage daughter about her own bodily autonomy and how her genetic information is being used is far worse than denying a toddler you aren't responsible for. It has to prove paternity. OP doesn't have a responsibility to the toddler, and his own mom had nearly 4 years since conception to prove his paternity. But she does have a responsibility to make sure her own child is safe and comfortable. I'm a social worker, and I just recently helped a father give a sample for a paternity test, and it involved so many steps that couldn't have been forced. Taking passport quality photos, filling in and signing the form in full in the presence of a justice of the peace, a good 30 seconds cheek swab. If you don't want it done, it really couldn't be. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter's boyfriend that she was cheating? I, 36 male, divorced my wife, 36 female, a few months ago as she cheated on me with another man, and she took our kids with her. I have 2 sons and a daughter, Nick, 16-year-old, Mikhail, 14-year-old, and Haley, 15-year-old. My eldest son, Nick, died due to drug overdose. Mikhail and Haley visit me very often. They've always preferred me over their mother. Haley sometimes likes to stay the night and bring her friends or her boyfriend, Han, 16-year-old, over. I don't mind it, but recently I've been seeing her texting someone more often and giggling at her phone. I didn't question it, since I thought it was most probably her boyfriend. I decided to ask her one day, and she told me it was one of her friends named Michael. I didn't really question any further after she said it was a friend, but I was a little suspicious. Haley has never hidden anything from me. She was always open and outgoing with me. One day, she invited both Michael and Han over along with a few of her other friends over to my place. My son was in my room with me. We were just chatting while I was folding laundry. I felt like asking Mikhail if he knew anything about Haley and Michael, since she was really touchy with Michael whenever they were together alone. I've even seen them cuddling. I let my curiosity get the best of me and I asked Mikhail about them. Mikhail froze for a moment and looked me dead in the eyes. He asked me to promise not to tell Haley or Han about this. I promised him, and he told me that Haley and Michael are in a relationship. Haley didn't want Han to find out, and she and Michael had a deal to act like friends around Han. Han's family was wealthy, and Han gets Haley nice gifts really often, and that's why Haley didn't want to break up with him. Hearing all this made me really upset with Haley. I didn't expect that from her. I felt the urge to tell Han about this, but I was having second thoughts because he might get extremely heartbroken, and there would be drama. But if this continues, it would lead to something much worse. I asked my son if he has any evidence to back this up, and he said there were pictures of Haley and Michael on our laptop. Haley and Mikhail stay in my 2 guest bedrooms upstairs whenever they come over. I went to Haley's room since she was distracted downstairs. Her laptop was on her desk. I knew it was wrong to look through her personal things, but I had to do this before I confront her. I looked through her pictures and did manage to find a few pictures that would give it off that Haley and Michael were together. I transferred those pictures to my phone. After Haley's friends left, I didn't have any second thought. I told her we needed to talk, and she sat down. I told her that I'm being suspicious that he and Michael are together, and she's cheating on Han. She flatly denied it. I was disappointed, so later that night I decided to text Han. I had his number because Haley lost her phone once, and she texted him through mine. I sent him the pictures and told him about Michael and her. He didn't reply, but he kept me on scene. Next morning, he came over and Haley was crying her eyes out. I knew it happened. She ran to me and hugged me. This gave me the clue that Han didn't tell her that I was the one who told him about it. Haley was crying and sobbing and told me that Han wanted to break up with her. I asked Han why, and he just gave me a smile and said that it wasn't working out between them. He thanked me before leaving. I still feel terrible about what I did, but it had to be done. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the mini update. Not the a-hole. Also, what a guy Han is for not ratting you out. Not the a-hole, but you should use this as a teaching moment with your daughter concerning her moral behavior. It seems as if she learned this behavior from her mother. If you don't intervene, your daughter will more than likely repeat this behavior in her future relationships. Not the a-hole. Everyone should learn that horrible actions have awful consequences. I agree, but you need to talk to your daughter about how she should treat people. Otherwise, this hasn't taught her anything. It won't change anything. She was keeping him around for the gifts. She liked him as a provider, not a man. Maybe would even marry him while cheating on him. What she is sad about is that he broke up with her. Not that she lost him, but that she was rejected by someone and lost all those future expensive things. The father should have been honest with her and shown his disapproval. Maybe then she would learn, because just a simple talk won't change anything. If he would show her that she was hurting Han like her mother hurt her father, then maybe then she would learn. Mini update. I had a long talk with her after this. I told her the truth and everything that happened. Mikhail didn't take it to heart and things were fine with him, though he did get a little upset. But Haley said I ruined her relationship. She learned her lesson. I do agree with people who said I was the a-hole. I shouldn't have done that. I did that as she was taking the same steps as my wife. I know it was wrong.